Listen, Jay Winger, and you're listening to The Alternative.
It's your boy Jahan Jones, and you're listening to The Alternative. What's going on? I'm Mark John Jeffries, and I just wanted to say that you are listening to The Alternative.
Hey, this is Coca Brown, and you're listening to The Alternative with my boy, Melvin Taylor.
What up, world? It's your man, Melvin Taylor. I back here for another episode of The Alternative with Melvin Taylor. Say it with your chest. Next segment that we're moving into, man, where we're going to go even more in depth about some topics that I would love to speak with you guys about. First thing first, we're going to talk about my man, LaMelo Ball and the Ball family. Big baller brand. Go out there, cut you some grass so that you can afford some shoes. Because if you ain't got none, you ain't a big baller. All right? Why do I want to talk about LaMelo Ball? Why do I want to talk about this young man? The reason that I want to speak about this young man, simply because he is in a league of his own, ladies and gentlemen. No, I did not mean that he is restarting the JBA and he's going back there to play. No, that does not mean that I think he is going to be the greatest thing ever to touch the basketball court, right? But what I do think is that this man is head and shoulders above anybody else at this point in time going into the NBA, going into professional sports, I'll say. Why is that? Why do I think that? Am I crazy? Is it fair to say that LaMelo Ball might have the greatest story going into the NBA? Is that fair? Because I think it is. I think that you can make a legitimate case that LaMelo Ball might have the greatest story going into the NBA, especially from a black ownership standpoint and what he could do next. I don't think anybody's touching this. I can't really count Jordan in any of that because Jordan didn't come in with expectations such as a LeBron, a Zion, or what a LaMelo will have on him, right? He just simply rose to be the greatest of all time. I'll get more to that later, who I think is the GOAT, right? And I think the reason, or the primary reason that LaMelo is in a league of his own, that he has the greatest story going into the NBA is because all the adversity he had to face to get here, and now the things that he has at his disposal. All right, Melvin, talk to me. What you talking about, right? Okay, we know the story, right? He's the youngest of the Ball brothers. LeVar been saying from the beginning he's going to be the best one out of all of them. And I understood what he meant. Growing up in a basketball family, right? Growing up in a sports household, the younger one, because they start out so early and they get to play up in competition, always will have an advantage on the guys at their age because they have to do so much more to compete with the guys that are older than them, that by the time they get to the guys their age, they like, oh, I'm looking to shoot like barbecue chicken, right? Same thing with my little brother. My little brother was in 4th, 5th grade playing with me in high school. Like I was in a league where we were playing like during the fall, winter time, and a little bit during the summertime. And if we didn't have an extra, my little brother would come in to play point guard. Now he out there getting a shot block, getting it thrown, right? Going to the basket, getting knocked down, all of that. But at that point, he's learning how to play against guys that are that much bigger than him. He's learning, this is how I got to shoot. This is where I got to position. Okay, I got to analyze so much more right now that by the time he gets down to the guys that are around him, he like, oh, I got this. LaMelo Ball has been doing that. LaMelo Ball was what? I think he still in grade school when he was playing on a high school AAU team with his brothers because they were already dominating. Right? Winning state championship after state championship, killing the AAU circuit, killing everybody that they playing, right? He goes from that. Lonzo goes to UCLA. LiAngelo's supposed to go to UCLA. LaMelo's supposed to go to UCLA. Lonzo goes to the league. LiAngelo goes to UCLA. You have the whole China situation. Now, that puts the rest of them in jeopardy. LiAngelo gets pulled out. Instead of going to another school, which I definitely thought they should have done at the time, right? They go and play Lithuania. LaMelo gets pulled out of high school, has to go play in Lithuania with his brother. Big learning experience for him. He now has to see the game through a pro eye. Yes, he's still a kid. Yes, he's still going to do kid things. But he now has to look at things as a grown man that has to feed his family. And yeah, he's getting money from, I guess you could say probably getting money from Facebook, probably getting money from the brand. Or maybe them all might be going to the family in a separate fund, so that way his collegiate eligibility was never in question, which is, I believe, what happened. Don't know for sure, but I think that's what happened to me, because that's what would be the most ideal if I still want you to go to college. I still want you to go to UCLA, right? So I'm not going to put your athletic eligibility in jeopardy. You ain't making no money. All that is going over here. You ain't touching a dime of that, right? Lithuania. Goes there for a little bit, then it's like, all right, man, I'm kind of tired of this. LiAngelo goes to the draft, doesn't get drafted. Now he has to figure out what he wants to do next. Same time, LaMelo is like, okay, bro, I want to go back to America and finish out my high school career. Pops is like, all right, cool. Okay, cool. We can do this. We can do this. But how can we do this? All right, first, let's go ahead and do this JBA thing. Let's see if we can get some some players to play in this. JBA, I understood what he was doing. I definitely understood what LaVar was doing, and that plays a huge role into everything else that's gonna go on. Forgive me if I'm messing up the timeline of the JBA, but it's more important overall for the story about what's going on, right? Keep all these things in mind. Pulled out of high school, JBA, Lithuania, right? Now he's going back. Now he goes to Spire Academy. Has to again go learn to be on his own. You got to learn how to be a grown man. He gets his agent or his manager, Jermaine Jackson, who's the coach at that point in time, right? Who was a pro before, understands what LaVar is trying to do. And it's like, I'm on the same page that you on. We're going to treat this young man how I was treated, how we're treated as professionals. We're going to make sure he get that same thing and develops into Teflon, right? Rips through the high school circuit like that. Some teams don't even want to play him because they're like, nah, you got a professional on your team. Whatever, bro. We ain't doing this. Right? And it's like, all right, cool, man. Whatever. Not to mention that my man's grew from being 6'2", 6'3" at this point in time. Throughout this entire time, he's grown to be 6'8" now. He's 6'8" now. And he balling, bro. He's balling. He had to go over there and play with them grown men in Lithuania. He coming back high school circuit balling. Right? So now with him being back, it's like, okay, what is he going to do next? He still wants to fulfill that UCLA role. Isn't able to do that because NCAA might hold him out because they say you might have either made money at JBA or Lithuania. Can't really do this, bro. So you're going to be academically ineligible. I believe that's why they didn't end up going, because otherwise I think he just would have went to college. Sees that, oh, RJ Hampton going abroad to play. I've done that before. I can do that. And probably from Jermaine saying, look, bro, you go over here and show out in this Australian league because we can't really mess with the China situation because your brother kind of unfortunately soured that for us. Let's go over here where the competition's still pretty good. All right, let's go do that. Hops over to the Illawarra Hawks. At first, it's a struggle. People saying, man, RJ Hampton's so much better than Melo, bro. And not to mention, RJ Hampton is on a much better team. LaMelo, I believe his team was at the bottom of the standings around there. But through time, LaMelo starts to average almost a triple dub, bro. He hit a couple triple doubles. You can see him starting to get better as a player, right? You can see the flashes. You can see, oh, he got the flair for the dramatics. He got the handle. He can shoot it all right, but shooting can be improved in time. All that is more practice, more repetition. But his feel for the game is unbelievable. He's leading his team to comebacks. You know, he diamond assists that you wish his teammates was finishing. They just not, because they ain't, you know, they all ain't on that level. But it's cool. You can see that the potential is there. Around this point in time is now where we start to get to why I say he's in a league of his own. Rumor has it that he was offered $100 million in a jet as a part of his endorsement deal. Now, there were a lot of people that were questioning, why in the hell would somebody offer LaMelo Ball $100 million in a jet? This dude a scrub. Couldn't even play in college, so he had to go overseas. I don't see it that way again, guys. This kid has had his name in the spotlight for how long? He's more LeBron than he is Zion to that social aspect. Not playing style. Throw the playing style out, right? From the social aspect of he's had so much pressure he's had to deal with, being on national TV, having the Facebook reality show, having your dad always throw your name in there, having millions of followers, right before you can even get your driver's license, having your own brand, big baller brand, having your own shoe. Another reason why he probably would have been academically ineligible to go to NCAA. He's had to survive all of that and still keep a straight head on, which is he's been able to do. Gets me back to him being offered $100 million in a jet. He's coming into the league with more followers than some NBA teams might have, than a bunch of NBA players have, right? So that's already gonna boost it up. So you already gonna have to come to him with a premier package as an endorsement deal, right? But you throw the $100 million in a jet in there because you need to show how serious you are about this business and where you believe his potential could go. Melvin, you haven't explained to me where his potential could go. All right, cool. Here's where all of this starts to tie in together. I want you to picture in your mind, right? Big baller brand. Picture in your mind the Illawarra Hawks we play for. Picture in your mind who they just officially signed to as of today, or planning to sign to. According to his manager, Jermaine Jackson, him and his brother, both of his brothers, Lonzo and LiAngelo, are all going to sign to Roc Nation Sports. Hove. If Hove ain't the GOAT for this, Hove playing chess right now with this. If y'all don't see where I'm going with this, man, don't worry, I'm gonna lay it out for you. Now, Roc Nation, Jay-Z, who's a major consultant, I guess you could say. I thought he was the head of basketball for PUMA, but they came and cleared that up a little bit. He got the PUMA ties, right? Same reason that Nip was able to get on the PUMA jet for the Racks in the Middle video. Again, make sure to picture Roc Nation, Illawarra Hawks, big baller brand. Now think of those three things. Think of this PUMA deal. These are things that none of the other prospects and nobody else that has ever come into the NBA before have had. And this is why you add all this to the pot to say that LaMelo may have the greatest story going into the NBA draft, going into the NBA in general. Per the news that was broken some time ago by his manager, Jermaine Jackson, they got pulled down, but they still figuring out that situation, right? LaMelo was about to buy the Illawarra Hawks. LaMelo and his manager was going to buy it. Why? The team was in financial uncertainty. Wasn't sure if they was going to be able to last. Now, if you were paying attention, LaMelo also donated some of the money that he earned through his contract when the wildfires in Australia was going on to help out there. He's developed such a kinship with the people out there. He really enjoys it out there. He's appreciative of what they have given him, and he wants to give back. Now, why would him buy the Illawarra Hawks be such a big deal? Number one, you a 17, 18-year-old young man and you own a basketball team. I take my do-rag off to you, bro. Take my hat off to you, bro. Congratulations. Something ain't nobody else ever did. You in the ownership game already. Yeah, it may not be an NBA franchise, but how many of us got a legit shot at owning an NBA franchise? Not many. The fact that he owns this already shows the level of thinking that his father put into all these boys at that point in time. Shows that he was actually listening during those times. Why is him buying that team so important? What's the second reason? It forced the NBA's hand. How did it force the NBA's hand? It forced the NBA's hand because this whole G League thing with the select team wouldn't be as sped up if they didn't see the numbers that RJ Hampton and LaMelo Ball were bringing, the eyeballs they were bringing to those Facebook streams. If you see the eyeballs that people were up at 2 a.m. to watch them Lithuania games. People were watching them JBA games, even if just to hate. People were watching them Spire Academy games. People were watching them Illawarra Hawk games against him and RJ Hampton. Granted, the NBA didn't like their scouts having to go all the way over there for those two prospects and then coming all the way back. So that does add an aspect to it. But the NBA saw what I'm explaining to you guys right now, what LaVar Ball was trying to do with the JBA. Have it to where, okay, cool, this is going to be the pipeline to the NBA. Keyword pipeline. This is what the Illawarra Hawks can be for certain high school talents. Hell, even for certain collegiate talent that don't get the look in the league that they want. Right? LaMelo is coming over here saying, look, I can bring people that have been in the NBA over to the Illawarra Hawks. Put them in the front office. Put them on the court. I can help to improve this franchise. Now, if he can take the Illawarra Hawks to even be middle of the pack or be top of the game in the, I believe it's the NBL that they're in, how incredible is that? Now you build out, again, going back to the keyword pipeline, where you could say, hey, big time high school recruit, you don't want to go play in college? Okay. The G League select team before, I think they were going to make around 120,000, which is crazy because certain G Leaguers don't even make above 60 and they travel on buses. I need the NBA to figure that out because that's a slap in the face to them G Leaguers. NBA, y'all making way too much money for these G Leaguers to be getting paid teacher salaries, bro. Way too much. And that's offensive to the teachers, bro. Teachers should definitely be getting paid more. Shouldn't no teacher have to be struggling? But that's a topic for another day. G Leaguers are making teacher salaries right now. And you having kids like Jalen. Oh, man, I'm forgetting this young kid's name. Let me go ahead and pull up. G League select team. Jalen Green. There we go. Jalen Green is coming in. And he's going to make about $500,000 on his contract. Now, when you look at it, he probably going to make half of that because you got to pay people, right? Pay for somewhere to live. Pay everybody that's on your team. He might make more through endorsements, though. Good for him. But he's not coming in here with his own team. So what if G League select team only takes a few players? If they say, all right, we only taking 10 players, right? Imagine the top 100 high school players. Out of that top 100, 10 of them saying we going to the G League select team. We had a pool of 90. Now that pool of 90 that's left, I could go to college and play. But I don't know when college is going to start back up. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know what's the rules going to be. Are they going to change things now? How's that going to work? What's going to happen there? I could go be the big man there. Or I could go to Australia. I could make money to send back home to my family. I could really understand what it takes to be a professional, right? I can really go test the waters to see if I'm ready for this. In a system, in an environment, in surroundings where we have people that have been in the NBA and can tell me firsthand, this is what this is going to be like. This is what this is going to be like because it's structured there. Why? Because that's who LaMelo Ball and Jermaine Jackson brought in to run the operation. These are the type of individuals that they brought in to make sure that with me getting over there, I'm going to be as prepared as possible for the NBA game. Right? This creates another pipeline. Now, out of those 90, maybe only 3 or 4. Hell, maybe only 2 might go. But if those 2 are successful, if those 2 can show that they can really play in a professional league, now instead of going to college where I got to deal with class, I'm tired, coach yelling at me, I got my roommates, do I want to go party, all these other things, you immediately can go and say, I'm now a professional. I have to treat it as such. All these other distractions, I got to learn to move out the way. because I'm about my money now, because now this is feeding my family. Ultimately what I wanted, what I would have loved to have declared out of high school, but I can't. That's fine. Now I can be more professional by the time I get to the league, and instead of them having to worry about me wilding out, doing this, that, and the third, I'm already where I need to be and can assimilate a lot easier. Again, this is something that LaMelo Ball is bringing to the table as an NBA prospect. He's creating a pipeline for other people to duplicate what he did and potentially have more success than he did over there and come into the NBA and be able to achieve more. You could go to, I'm going to just name a random school like Wake Forest. No offense to Wake Forest whatsoever. Very good program, right? Very good program. You could go to a school like Wake Forest, have a good year, probably end up going somewhere in the lottery. You could go overseas to Australia, play in this league that they have over there, shine. Instead of lottery, you might be looking top 10, top 5, depending on how well you do, because you playing against grown men. Yeah, they're like, the competition's watered down. It's still professional competition. That's no shade to the college game. It's professional competition. That's the main reason why a lot of people that were cool or showing out during college basketball, why they still got Melo in the top 3, top 5. Professional competition, baby. And it don't help that he is 6'8". It doesn't hurt that he's a 6'8" point guard, but having that pro attached to it adds an entire different element. That's why the Illawarra Hawks aspect is so good, right? That's what adds to LaMelo's stories, that I'm creating a pipeline for other people to come into the league. Now, how does this tie in with Roc Nation and PUMA? Obviously, I mentioned the PUMA tie that Jay-Z has earlier, right? So that helps to sweeten the deal. But this is where the Big Baller Brand piece comes in. Big Baller Brand, I wish would have been more successful in the first run. They had that whole issue with the guy that was running it before. I'm not really going into all of that, right? We saw what happened. It's honestly shameful that Lonzo got taken advantage of and that some of his money got stolen. But I'm sure he's gonna get that back. Especially Roc Nation gonna make sure he all right, type thing, right? Big Baller Brand. So much untapped potential in that. Big Baller Brand was making how much in sales? Don't know. Don't really care. I know that it wasn't to the effect that they were like booming like that. They were good. Don't get me wrong. They weren't booming like that though. Not to the level which LeVar was spitting out. Reason why this is a big piece is because he's coming into the league with his own brand. Melvin, Lonzo did this already. Yes, Lonzo did this already. LaMelo's coming in with his own shoe. Melvin, Lonzo did this already. Yes, he did this already. But go back to that PUMA thing, right? I offer you $100 million in a jet because now I can bring Big Baller Brand into it. We can split some of the profits from Big Baller Brand. We can add Big Baller Brand to the PUMA legacy, to the PUMA family. Now it's a PUMA Big Baller Brand collaboration. Now this young man is coming in with his own shoe, his own brand that is affiliated with this major brand. Now instead of having to go online and people waiting, when am I going to get my Big Baller shoes? I can go to the PUMA store and get my Big Baller shoes. I can go to the PUMA store and get my LaMelo Ball merchandise. I can go to the PUMA store and possibly, here's another linking thing, go back to that pipeline I was saying. PUMA sponsors Illawarra Hawks. I can now go get me an Illawarra Hawks jersey. Why is that so important? Now PUMA has a direct pipeline to other players from high school that are going to be coming in and playing over there. PUMA can say, we're going to sponsor the jerseys. We're going to sponsor the gear. We doing all of that. Now, say for example, what if Zion didn't go to Duke, right? What if Zion didn't go to Duke and decided I'm not going to do the G League Select? I know, alternate universe, but just walk with me here, right? He goes over and plays in Australia. Instead of Nike getting him signed, now PUMA is going to get that deal. That can happen for anybody. Nobody knew that Kawhi was going to sign with New Balance. What if a Kawhi type of guy, not saying playing style, but saying his story, right, goes and plays overseas, now comes into the league, gets locked into this deal, and ascends the way that Kawhi has? Now PUMA got another star. All this is built off the back of what Lonzo has been able to bring in. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else has a story like this. This again is why I said LaMelo Ball is in a league of his own. He's coming in with, at some point in time when his deal goes through, his own team. He's going to have his own brand. And he's going to have Jay-Z helping him out through Rock Nation Sports, bro. By the time this guy is 24, 25, it's going to be scary what he will have accomplished at that point. Not to mention, right, and say, I don't wish this to happen. I really want LiAngelo to play overseas. To play in the NBA. But remember back when LeVar was saying LiAngelo probably going to be the one to play overseas? Now LiAngelo can go have a full career in Australia. LiAngelo can play his entire career in Australia and then make it back over and get court seats for every one of his brother's games. Not to mention be the face of the big baller brand, baby. Do you understand how big this is? This has never been done in history before. And LaMelo Ball could walk into the NBA with all of this. And whatever team gets him, your PR going through the roof, baby. Especially if you play well. So you draft him into a good organization where things are ran correctly. Now, every time his name is brought up, the excellence that he's getting from your organization is going to be brought up too. I'm telling y'all, man, LaMelo Ball has the greatest story going into this NBA draft. And if he's able to even achieve the expectations that people have, and he supersedes them, my God, it's going to be scary what this young man can accomplish, bro. Scary.